Obviously, there's significant community concern. The details are obviously hugely worrying.
Why did a New South Wales police officer with more than a decade's experience taser a 95-year-old aged care resident after she allegedly refused to drop a steak knife? Claire Nowland weighs 43 kilos and was using a walking frame.
At the time she was tasered, she was approaching police, but it is fair to say at a slow pace.
The New South Wales Police Chief, who has come under fire for this comment.
Are you agreeing with you?
No. I've heard what's in the body worn and I don't see it necessary that I actually view it.
Today, standing by that choice as the police investigation gets underway.
If I become a decision maker later on, it would be unfair really of me to consider that on its own now and take my perception of that matter until I see the complete picture.
Also defending the decision to omit the use of a taser in the initial media release.
It was important that the family were informed of the situation in a factual manner before we went public on it. We're not hiding anything.
Claire was a resident at her home for more than 5 years.
Things shouldn't have been allowed to escalate to the point where police needed to be called.
It's rare that we get called to aged care facilities and it's rare that police have to interact with dementia patients. Part of the investigation will examine the aged care facility, the staff, the ambulance and then the police.
Advocates today calling out a lack of knowledge around dementia care.
The current training that is required to become an aged care worker in Australia doesn't require any mandatory training on dementia, and you can become a carer after a 6-week course.
Claire, a woman who celebrated her 80th birthday by skydiving, is now receiving end-of-life care, her family at her hospital bedside.
We need to be careful here, obviously, because there's going to be an inquiry, but you just do wonder, a small town like Cooma, why were the police called in the first place? I mean, you would think in a nursing home with someone suffering dementia on a walking frame that the police would not be required, that there'd be someone trained within that centre to deal with it without that happening. There's no winners in any of this. I mean, this poor woman, her family, but I also would just warn everyone to be careful about the police. I mean, police do a very tough job, and we don't know what prompted what happened, and there will be an inquiry. But I do find it very strange the New South Wales Police Commissioner won't watch the vision.
Yeah, it's very odd. Also her calling it rare at the moment, you know, that police to be called into an aged care facility like that in this kind of manner. But I worry that it actually may become more common, because if we are racing through aged care workers without the training, without dementia specialised training, and we're going to have just this huge rise in aged care with what we need.
Even without the training, though, who calls the police on a 5'2", 43-kilo little old lady?
Very hard to fathom.
That's a tricky situation.